Mancow will be live momentarily. The Mancow Live podcast will be up momentarily. You ready?
Nudie?
We're on in 3.
Well, what do I do?
Just talk. You're ready. You're on. Here it goes.
They're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. It's utterly bizarre.
Estimate for how many Al-Qaeda are inside Afghanistan?
We know that Al-Qaeda is a presence, as well as ISIS, in Afghanistan. As I think you might understand, Jen, it's not like they carry identification cards and register somewhere.
Just into CNN, we have the first images, the first photographs of the scene following this bombing here. Please take a moment here, because I do want to warn you, they're disturbing.
Breaking news just coming into our Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon.
Sadly, John, Sandra, we have even more devastating news to report. We've just learned that the death toll for U.S. service members has risen. We can report at this time that at least 10 U.S. service members, Marines and soldiers, have been killed in that bombing outside Abbey Gate, the suicide bombing attack that occurred this morning outside Abbey Gate at the airport in Kabul.
Hey, let me take the one question from the most interesting guy that I know in the press.
Mr. President, there had not been a U.S. service member killed in combat in Afghanistan since February of 2020. You set a deadline, you pulled troops out, you sent troops back in, and now 12 Marines are dead. You said the buck stops with you. Do you bear any responsibility for the way that things have unfolded in the last 2 weeks?
Are we live? Let's bring on the guest right away. We're having all kinds of issues. Let's do that, and you can call in. And I apologize right off the bat here. How are you, sir?
I'm good today, man, Kyle. Well, as good as can be, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah. Who are you? I want you. You got such a great title. Tell everybody watching who you are and a little bit of your background.
So, anyways, my name is Colonel Bill Potterton. I'm a U.S. Army Reserve retired colonel. I spent from 2004 to 2005 in Afghanistan as an embedded trainer under an organization called Phoenix in Afghanistan, living with the Afghan troops. I trained them from basically when they started their basic training all the way through to going combat operations. Later on, I had worked in Washington, D.C. at the Pentagon, working with our NATO allies for what was called Operation Resolute Support, which was the operation that NATO took over inside Afghanistan to provide stability to our Afghan allies.
Are these, look, there's a lot going on, so I don't even know how to begin. And I'm telling you, we've had all kinds of issues today. I'm just rushing to get in here and do this, and I'm flustered. Forgive me. I mean, I'm sure you're flustered with what's going on. Like, I've got problems. I'm not in Afghanistan right now, but I've always seen these troops over there, our troops, the Afghan troops, as the Keystone Cops. Did you find that to be true?
Well, I think the first most important thing right now that we should probably start out with is right now we have 13 dead Marines. CENTCOM just announced it a little while ago, 18 wounded. And I'm sure that all of your listeners and you and everyone else in America, their hearts and prayers go out not only to those families, speedy recovery for the wounded. We hope they make it. And additionally, for all those forces, the 82nd Airborne, our special operations, and the Marines that are currently at Helmut Karzai International Airport, doing this tremendous job under tremendous stress.
Well, of course I was going to go there, and I wanted to build to that. And I kind of look like a jerk now because I didn't start like that, but that's fine. I get it. And yes, of course, our hearts and prayers go out to those that are left behind. I think they've been abandoned by this commander-in-chief. I think he's a disaster. I thought he had a nice moment of remembrance for the people that were killed, but blood is on his hands, and I think it'll be. Can he be court-martialed?
No, I mean, I read that exact same thing from the British colonel like 2 days ago. He's the commander-in-chief. He's in charge of anybody that would court-martial him. He's a civilian, even in the commander-in-chief job, so he's not subject to uniform code of military justice like those in uniform are.
Are you shocked that none of these wimpy Republicans, these rhinos left behind, have spoken up much? I mean, you got Rand Paul there, and the rest of them are so weak. Are you shocked that the Republicans are rah military, and they're not saying anything?
I think everybody is really in a state of shock right now at how fast Kabul fell apart.
Well, that's why I wanted to start with that. I mean, how incapable were these? It was supposed to last months, and it lasted a couple of days.
I know everyone wants answers right now for it. I think the most important thing for us, and I'll come back to your first question, more importantly, about the Afghan forces as Keystone Cops. They're not. The Afghan Special Operations Forces are the cream of the crop. They were trained by us, by our special forces, our special operations soldiers. They do a great job. They were heavily targeted over the last 20 years by the Taliban and then ISIS-K, the ISIS Khorasan group, which is small, for being killed. Their families were killed. I will also say that Afghan pilots, the ones we have trained that added the close air support, which is so key, and I think it's the biggest key to watching everyone's how shocked and how quickly Afghanistan fell. But as soon as you lost the air support, particularly the U.S. air support direct in with the Afghan army, that was really the preceptor that allowed the Taliban to move in very rapidly and take the country.
The biggest blunder is the biggest blunder in U.S. military history. I've heard a lot of people say that. You actually know about this stuff. I know there's a lot of emotion today, but is it the biggest blunder? I mean, we closed the base. The prisons were opened with thousands of these maniacs.
I don't know if I agree with the military blunder, because the military and the officers in charge respond to the commander-in-chief and the civilian oversight. We're democracy, that's how it's set. So the military turns around, we give options. I was in the room, so I don't know what options were given.
So was it the biggest presidential mistake? We're trying to look for blame, but who's to blame? The president, right, for closing the space? And it was a mistake. Wouldn't you agree?
I would say that the biggest, this is a stain on our national reputation and is a stain on our U.S. military.
Who moves in now? China? China moves in? They do a deal with the Taliban? Is that where this is headed? I puppet of China?
Short term, the Taliban right now, and the reason why they're leaving us alone, I mean, there's multiple streams about thoughts about why they're leaving us alone right now. But really, the Taliban right now is trying to solidify their control in Kabul and the country at large. You've seen national uprisings of Afghans waving the Afghan national flag. in Jalalabad, in downtown Kabul, up in Mazar-e Sharif in the north. So the Taliban doesn't have 100% control of the country. And that is going to be their biggest focus. Come August 31st, I think they will shut off this nice guy Taliban. And I really believe on September 11th, you will probably see some very big demonstration by the Taliban, and they may blame ISIS-K for it, of allies that have worked with us over so many years, over 2 decades, demonstration of a puppet trial followed by very public executions to solidify their control across the country. And I would put money that it will be on September 11th, just to rub America's nose in it.
Hey, Bill, can I call you Bill? Is that disrespectful?
No, it's not, man. Cal, you're good, man.
All right, brother. Listen, look, I keep hearing ISIS this, Taliban and B, A, B, C, D, all. Aren't they just all assholes? Aren't they all just, look, they're radical. They want Christians and Jews dead. We keep giving them all kinds of different names. And I mean, are we talking John Wayne Gacy versus Ted Bundy? Who gives a shit what the name is? And look, I'm just some guy. And but President Glazed Donuts on TV tonight saying, oh well, the Taliban, and we gave this. We gave a list. We gave the list of who we want out of the country to the Taliban. Here's a list of our friends and the Christians and Americans that we want to get out. Is that insane to you that we would give them a list with their address? Here you go. Go kill these people. It's pretty obvious what's going to happen. So I asked 2 questions. Is one group any different from the other? Aren't they all just asshole killer clowns? And then the other one is, what were we thinking giving the Taliban a list of who we wanted to get out of there?
They are, I don't know if I call them clowns because they're very deadly, But,
well, killer clowns.
I
Not the clowns from our childhood, the clowns nowadays. Clowns are killers, man. Haven't you seen that?
No, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. They're the devil's army, man.
They are varying degrees of different ideologies. All right. So, I mean, ISIS and the Taliban really don't like each other. Mostly it's for control of each one believes they have the pure ideology. All right. And that's probably the easiest way to explain that. So they're in a constant fight. It's been a fight for centuries across Shia, Sunni, Muslims. So but providing names, if that's confirmed, I watched a press conference. I was a little shocked, as many people are. If that is true, providing names and saying, hey, these are the people we can let through.
Well, it's true. I mean, that's a fact.
It'd be rough, So
we are giving these people over to slaughter. And
that would be battlefield
again, Bill. I don't want to go back to World War II, but let's study history. I don't even know how to. I don't know how to. You're dealing with such evil. Look, we're a Christian country. We're Western. They want us dead.
I will 100% agree with you on that.
You were over there. So, well, this asshole group versus this asshole group, I won't call them clowns. Does asshole work for you?
No,
is that too strong?
No, it does. I will tell you.
This bunch of maniacs, and I don't care, why we had our people over there to begin with. That's a whole nother show, right? Why do we insert our boys, our red-blooded Americans, our Christians into the middle of this chaos with, brother, it's like downtown Chicago. Have you heard about how crazy it is? It really is just a lot of gangbangers killing gangbangers, and you give a shit when it's a little kid that gets involved. Then you care. But as far as maniac killing maniac, oh, that's Al-Qaeda K, and that's Taliban Z. Who cares? Let them kill each other. Except they do have our oil under their feet, don't they? You heard a lot about that too, right? Blood for oil, what did we get out of this? So I loved all the commie libs saying what we were going to get out of this. What did we get out of this? A bunch of body bags and higher taxes. But Bill, let me go to you. I've been all over the world. I've been all over the Middle East. Okay, there's good people everywhere. Okay, so yeah, I've had some people. I had Gacy on my show. I interviewed Charles Manson. Could be entertaining. But when you were dealing with these people, do you feel like like you're dealing with an unhinged pit bull that could go off at any time, or did you genuinely grow to trust some of these people and love them when you were training them?
So you kind of have two things.
I know.
I
do that. I do that.
No. That's good. That's good. I like the conversation. So I did have an opportunity a couple times to deal with, because I was there very early on in Afghanistan post 9/11, and the Taliban ran a lot of the police forces then, and I did have opportunity, even though they say no, not Taliban, to see them. You can tell them because they have the long beards.
Yeah.
But they'd be in a police uniform, and just looking at them and them looking at me, I knew, one, they wanted to kill me. They wanted to kill the Afghans that were with me.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it was pure evil. I 100% agree with you on that. It was pure evil. You don't believe in exactly what I believe, and you won't listen to me. I want to kill you. So that was the Taliban.
Yeah.
Now,
can Western Christian society, can Jewish folks, no matter how liberal, bring them here? We are compassionate. You know, my neighbors have signs written in, I don't know, Arabic. Everyone's welcome here. We can't coexist. I think of the bumper sticker, coexist, except that one little symbol wants to kill all the others. Can we coexist with? Look, there was certainly hundreds of years where Muslim, Christians, and Jews coexisted peacefully. I've had wonderful Muslim people tell me, oh, this is not us. But boy, we sure see a lot of it. Maybe it's media created. Maybe it's overblown. I don't think it is. But can we coexist with these folks? Because the bottom line is they want us dead.
It depends what you're talking about. Are you talking about the Taliban?
What about all these Afghanistans? What about all these people from Afghanistan that were settling in Racine, Wisconsin, and the Dells and all around America? Seems like a lot of these people got here that weren't vetted. Do you expect us to see, and of course the prison's emptied up, some real bad hombres here. Are you expecting some real bad stuff coming to our shores now that we've let this melt down?
I would say that, first off, yeah, I mean, the vetting is important and we have to watch it. And secondly, yes, these groups want to come to the U.S. They want another great 9/11 impact. But to go on with the people in general, so I had a great Afghan interpreter, loved him. He rode with me. I didn't ride around in up armored Humvee. I had a Ford Ranger, a Toyota Hilux, drove around the country. It was just me and several other of my NCOs, and they were very effective at wanting to kill the Taliban very early on. And we pick up our interpreter usually 5-10 blocks away from his house. And one day he didn't show up, so we drove past his house, and the Taliban had gotten a hold of him. They knew he was working with the Americans, and they had skinned him alive and hung him in front of his house. And that's where we found him. We couldn't do anything because we didn't want to verify what it is. Second story, I had a Afghan elder in this little village, come up to me, and he was saying, I'm glad the Taliban's gone. I love America. I'm like, why? He goes, well,
obvious.
That's my granddaughter over there, and I don't want her to be a child bride at 9. I want her to learn. I want her to get an education. I want to be a better person. So there are great people that supported us. And I think that really comes to the gist of what we're talking about now, and where I think most veterans, particularly those that have been in Afghanistan, are upset, because we had a lot of Afghan people that looked at us, at the United States, and said, you are the greatest nation in the world. You're the freest nation in the world. We don't want your form of government. I mean, it's tough to form. You think of how long it took the United States, but we want your freedoms, and we appreciate you being here.
Bill,
so that's where I nailed it down.
Bill, that's thank you for that. And it's got to be heartbreaking right now, because you realize they're all dead. They're all going to be killed. Right? I mean, those that loved America over the last 20 years, they're dead, and we left them behind.
I would agree with that assessment.
So your heart, you just got to feel like you got the crap kicked out of you today. You got to feel deflated.
I would say.
Well, what was it all for?
Deflated with the policy, not with all the soldiers and sailors.
That guy
and
got skinned. That guy that worked with you got skinned alive. Anyone that's pro-American or Christian or Jewish even is going to be slaughtered. What was the and now we've got a incredible super training camp for the crazies. What's it all about, Alfie? Bill, what was the point of all of it? What was the point, Bill? What do you really think?
Well, I mean, it changed. The mission had developed over it. All right. Can I put this in a historical context?
Please.
So if you look at 1945, the end of World War II, we destroyed Germany. We came with the Marshall Plan. We sunk like $3 billion, 1945 funding into Europe, right? And we were there. We also rebuilt the military, and then the Soviet threat came up. Now, if you think of what happened, if we would have stayed in Germany for only 20 years, that date would have been 1965. And if we would have pulled out in 1965, you have an East Germany that is Soviet controlled. The Stasi had every single East German informing on each other. They had their kill areas. It was horrible. You got to look at the history. And if you would have said, well, the West Germans would have been on their own, the Soviets would have never invaded. In 1969, the Soviets invaded Czechoslovakia because they were going democratic. So you don't think that the Soviets would have invaded West Germany in 1965?
Of course they would have. So you think we should have stayed in Afghanistan? We left too soon.
I think we needed a footprint. Because if you look at geopolitically, Afghanistan's a landlocked country. What do you have to the north? The north, you have Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, controlled by Russia. You have China to the east. You have Iran to the south. You have Pakistan directly to the east. So when you talk about having over-the-horizon capability and intelligence capability to find out when the next terrorist attack are coming, where are you going to stage out of? So that becomes it. That becomes the issue. And then also, who's gonna wants to work with us in one of these countries now? So it becomes a broader scale if you start looking at our NATO allies.
Bill, we shut. This president shut down the pipeline. We're independent of these maniacs, and now here we are with our pipeline shut down, and we need oil again, and we've allowed this to happen. Economically, you're not an economics guy, neither am I, but everybody's telling me this is going to be big fun for America. China's going to fill the void. Lithium, I guess, for our batteries. Do we get a lot of lithium from Afghanistan? Is that correct?
It does, but Afghanistan doesn't have oil, but it does have mineral rich to include lithium. Right now, China owns 80%. China owns 80% of all the lithium reserves right now. Australia is probably one of the biggest ones.
You're retired. Can you say anything about Biden without getting in trouble? Do you think he's just completely sold out to China, and this was China's move?
I don't know, and I'm not getting into it because I'm looking at the military aspect of it. I'm not a politician.
Okay, let me ask you. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I'm supposed to talk with President Trump, former President Trump, this Saturday night. Okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. There's a chance I'm going to be speaking with President Trump. I've had several conversations with him over the years. Not a personal conversation I had, but it's a pretty well-known idea and statement that he basically told them, if you mess with us, we're just gonna blow the shit out of you. And they said, nukes? He goes, maybe. Nothing off the table. Don't mess with us. And they basically left us alone under Trump. It already looks like this. I love when they show the bombing. When you were there, I loved when they showed the bombing. I couldn't tell the difference. The surface of the moon, before or after, you can't really tell the difference. Looks like a real shithole place. But how was the food? No. But anyway.
Actually, the food was great. About my Afghans would actually go out into Kabul and go get me great food. I lived with the Afghans, so I ate the Afghan food. That was true. In 2001, 2002, after the Civil War, Afghanistan was a desolate place. You know, they had the Soviet occupation, they had their own civil war, and they had the Taliban. But if you look, I would urge, because there's this thing about the Afghan people and they're cave dwellers and all that. But I would urge your viewers and you, Google King and Queen's Palace in Kabul. When it was there, which was there was central government in Afghanistan under several strong kings. I've heard that there's never been one. There has been.
Well,
it was built, and that's not like your system. It was destroyed.
Look at Iran in the 60s. I mean, it was paradise. When Islam moves in, everything they touch turns to shit. And I mean, have you been to Israel? You stand in Israel. Jordan's got it going on. Jordan's fine. I don't know whatever happened to Transjordan, but I've been in Gaza. I've been into Syria. I've been into all these areas. And whatever that mentality is, it brings nothing but shit. And you can blame whoever you want. You look at the Middle East, and Israel is a little pinprick on the map, right? You know how it's Rhode Island to America. It's like all of America trying to kill everybody in Rhode Island. It's insanity. So what is it about them that is it radical Islam? What is it that they have? You know, you see what is Israel before the Jews got there, the Jewish folks got there. It looked like Afghanistan. It looked like the surface of the moon. You see it now. They've got food and greenhouses and forests. It's paradise. Of course, they want to blot that out because it makes them look bad. So what is it about these folks? And look, I've been all over the world. I've met a lot of great people. Although the Syrians, they can't wait to kill. Kill. I saw a lot of that. I didn't see so much from the Jordans. The Jordans want to kill the Jordanians. Not all of them, but some of them I met. They want to kill every American. They want the West destroyed. They want Jews and Christians dead. But come have some coffee. You have some tea. You want to look at my rug? Whereas I found the Syrians to be really, God, I couldn't wait to kill. There are different branches of this, but so what is it? What is it about these folks? Although Dubai is supposed to be like Vegas, God forbid you kiss your wife or smoke a joint there, they'll stone you. But other than that, real nice folks. So what am I missing? What am I missing about these folks? I haven't lived amongst them.
I would tell you again. I actually want to touch on another point you talked about Iran too in a minute. But if you look at Afghanistan 2004, and again, I would urge people and your listeners, you know, do the King's Palace and Queen's Palace in Kabul. Take a look at it, 2004, and then what it looks like today. They rebuilt it.
Bill, what's that going to prove to us? There's a kernel of corn in a pile of shit. Look at that kernel of corn. What is the point? You're trying to say that they can do something decent?
The point is the Afghan people, with American backing, were rebuilding their country and rebuilding it quite beautifully.
I get it. So we blew it. Biden blew it. Should he be impeached? Should he be impeached?
I'd like to jump back to a point you brought because I was thinking about.
Would you like to smack him? Would you like to smack him? Would you like to shake him up for what he's done?
I will come back to a point that you brought about Iran, and something that made me think. Well, no, it's going to come to your point.
Okay.
But I'm a historical guy, and because I really think history teaches us. And as I
we haven't learned anything from history, pal. We don't teach it. We don't teach civics, and we don't teach history. Walk around outside in America. Look at all these fat people with their muscles on. Get it. Oh, must follow. We are turning communist, and you know it. Learn from history. Yeah, Bill, you and me. Nobody else gives a shit. What kind of pornography can they get?
Because it's funny. Because as you talked about it, as I was prepping for your show,
anyone watching us, yeah.
As I was prepping for your show, I was thinking about what talking points I'd like to hit out of that. And one of the things I thought when you start thinking about Iran, and as we talk about the commander in chief, and I will kind of leave it at that because I don't want to get in the political realm. But I was thinking about the day, and a lot of your listeners probably don't even know who Ronald Reagan is. But I was thinking about the day Ronald Reagan was inaugurated, and the half hour before his inauguration, Iran let our hostages go.
Yep.
Because they knew that someone was coming to the White House that wasn't going to put up with
Trump wouldn't have taken any shit from these people, and you know it. And do you remember the scene? I'm sure you've seen this meme, Bill, but this will be fun for us to little something lighter for a second. But you remember the scene in Braveheart? Wait for it. Wait. And okay, go. I mean, the minute this stumble bum glazed donut walked in, okay, now we got it. I can't believe we announced when we were pulling out. You've seen the meme. I wish he would have pulled out before the night Hunter was conceived. Okay. Look, when I say people are ignorant, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about anybody that's watching. Stupid people aren't watching this right now. But if you think that these multicolored, multi-haired, I went to a place called Cluckers tonight, and a woman was upset because the chicken was damn good. They were upset because not everybody was wearing a mask. Why isn't everybody wearing a mask? And a woman was upset because the coleslaw has peanuts in it. It's called peanut slaw. But what if someone comes in that has a peanut allergy and orders coleslaw? And I said, ma'am, do you have a peanut allergy? No. Shut up! We're all concerned. We're so. By the way, what must they think? What you were there? Bill was, folks. If you're just joining us, Bill was there. He trained the Afghan soldiers. What must they think of our all the woke bullshit and all of the different letters and 100 different sexes, and that had to just be. And we pushed all that on them, right? Didn't we push all that liberal agenda shit on them?
Actually, we did not. And how it comes is the Afghan soldier is very pragmatic. Through the history of being the crossroads of invading army since before America was discovered, right? So they're very pragmatic. So the second we announced on July 2nd, and actually we didn't even announce, we just shut the lights off at Bagram Air Base and walked out without telling anybody. If you look at any map from July 2nd to July 5th or August 15th, that is when the Taliban made their move. It was a signal, we're done. Because the one thing from the time from October when we went in there to 2001 to today is they are deathly afraid of our air power, which is why the Taliban specifically targeted for extermination all the Afghan pilots of the Afghan Air Force that we trained. They went out, they were going to their homes, they're killing their family, they were targeting them, they're asking for support. So this whole narrative that the Afghan military hasn't fought. Since February 2021, they lost 3,500 troops fighting the Taliban. They've lost over 50,000 troops since the U.S. came in and liberated Afghanistan in October 2001. So the argument that they just didn't fight, I don't buy, because they paid for it with their blood.
Good.
What
Good.
happened was the United States walked out. Their biggest brother, the guy with the big stick, the one they knew they could count on if they got into trouble to call in the airstrikes, and they went, we're done. Now, we're going to blend into the woodwork because we know the Taliban is going to take over. And if you look at a map of Afghanistan from July 2nd, when we snuck out in the middle of the night at Bagram, to today, that's when the big flood turns in and the Taliban took over the country.
You don't want to smack Biden around a little bit.
I'm not going to get a political discussion.
I know. And listen. I want to say. I want to make it clear too. I'm a freedom guy. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. The point is, Afghanistan didn't embrace any of that. That was the point I was trying to make. I don't care what people do in their bedrooms. Okay, I don't give a shit. Although I do believe in the death penalty for pedophiles. That's Mancow's law, and there's a lot of pedophiles over there. Isn't that something you were told not to look at, Bill? I heard a lot of soldiers tell me, yeah, they rape little boys, they groom them, and they rape them, and we couldn't really say anything. That must have been tough. Looking the other way for pedophiles.
There is certain elements of their culture that they did have on Thursday nights that most of the time us Americans would leave to let the Afghans do whatever they did, and then Saturday morning we'd show back up to take them back down downrange for combat operations.
Did you not want to put a bullet in some guy that would rape a little boy? I mean, seriously, would you have any problem with that?
That at that point, that wasn't my mission. Yeah.
I know. I'm saying as a human being looks the other way while some guy rapes a kid, I'd have a problem with that mission. But I understand. I'm just saying, man, cow's law. I don't got time for pedophiles. All right. I hope you didn't have a completely miserable time here.
No, I don't know if you just froze up. Oh, I thought you just froze up there. No. I appreciate being on and being able to talk, and I hope your listeners got some stuff.
And viewers, I think they did, and I just look. A lot of emotions today, and I'd like to, Bill. I hope you'll do this again. I want to tell folks that Monday night, this is a special episode, and we were not geared up for this, obviously, and so I apologize, Bill, for the beginning. Should I be calling you Colonel?
No, Bill's fine. I don't want to use my official title.
Because I'm going to have a lot of people pissed off at me now. I mean, you're Colonel.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
All right,
I've never been pretentious about what I've done in the military. It's been
you should be.
34 years.
I'm not a freaking colonel. If I was, I'd insist on being called Colonel. Anyway, thank you, Colonel Bill Potterton. Thank you. And all right, say goodbye to him. Again, we're doing this on the fly. I want to jump on here, and I want to hear. Thank you, brother. Really great job. And but God, I did look like a jag-off because I didn't. Everybody's on TV. All the networks. All these commie libs that told us Biden was the answer, that never stopped every single day going after Trump. They're so sad about. By the way, wasn't there hundreds of others killed? Were there hundreds of others killed? And I just remember just thinking of Bill Clinton and the lip bite. I know these TV types. Look, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they care. I don't think they really give a shit. I think they're playing to the audience. And I do give a shit, but I didn't want to start with, 13 Americans dead. Of course I feel it. Of course I'm heartbroken. And maybe I should have. It's expected that I start that way. I wanted to build into it. So I'm sad, but I'm also mad. And these media types, they also have blood on their hands. These cheerleaders that did everything they could, lied and lied and lied and protected the liars and protected their communist-controlled, Chinese-controlled owners and communist-controlled anchors. Shameful. I'd like to take a call. We've never done this on this, the way we're set up now. And do we have somebody there? Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello, you're on. It's Man Cow.
Man Cow, this is Aaron, man. I've been listening to you since you got sold out in Chicago, man. I love your show.
Well, I never got sold out, brother. I sold out every venue I ever went to. But look, I certainly at the end, and why ended last year, I certainly got to the point where I wasn't allowed to talk about certain things.
I talked about before that station.
Well, look, brother, they called me a shock, and I'll tell you how shocking I am. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe in America first, and I'm a populist. And in a communist country or a socialist country where we're headed. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question, or what do you want to say?
Well, hang on. One second. I want to say this: how big of a fan that I've been following you. I watched your TV show back in the day when you had it with your brother down in Missouri.
It was a great show. All right, brother. Okay, let's go to the next call. Brother, I appreciate it. I'm fantastic. My ego's been filled. EGO edge got out. I thank you. God bless you. I'm glad you like the show. But I don't want to hear questions. I don't want to sit and talk about me tonight with what's going on in the world. Let's take another call. Can we do that? We got some. I know we've had some other vets call, and stop breaking my heart. This is so lousy the way I have to do this. Biden is a traitor. Yeah. This is all very, I did radio, AM radio until the end of last year. So this is all new technology for me. I appreciate your calls. I appreciate your comments. Can you put up how people can call and comment? Please, Nudie, let's do that. Listen, I want to tell you that Monday's show, coming up this Monday, is the reason that I am back. I never wanted to do any of this again. I was sick of the corporate censorship, and now here, just today, I had 3 posts pulled because they were brutal to the Taliban. Let me tell you what these were, the censorship that I'm going through. One was a helicopter, and a Taliban guy was standing from the helicopter, and it said, "Great deal on a helicopter." The other one was a Taliban guy standing in front of a tank, and it said, "I'm calling about your warranty." You may have seen these. What's the other one? I don't know. There was one other one. 3 of them got flagged for being inappropriate. Can you imagine if I made fun of Christians? Can you believe if I had Jesus on a cross and it was the most offensive freaking thing you could see? Put the phone number back. I want to read it. But again, the powers that be don't want me to make fun of communist China or the Taliban. I also love, and I made this point, Taliban A versus Al-Qaeda K, and no, they're all jagoffs. They're all killers. Okay, we have somebody on the phone. All right. We've got calls coming in, guys. It's all new. Everything's new. On the phone, Jason, go and ask me a question, Jason.
Thank you, sir, for everything you've done for us. We've messaged back and forth a few times, back and forth on Instagram.
I respond to every bit on Instagram. Listen, wait, Jason. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I spent my entire day messaging friends that have been in Afghanistan. They've done a lot of nasty things, bad things, just to see how they're doing.
Good
they're
for
home
you.
now. I mean, their boys are over there.
They're in Afghanistan right now?
Disgusting. They are not. Their friends are there.
Yeah. How are they feeling about our president right now?
For them to see how they're doing.
This is great. 855 to Mancal. Obviously, we have problems. I'm going to end this. We had a lot of great stuff set up. We had a lot of great stuff set up last Monday as well. I'm on a learning curve. So it's going to get better and better. The numbers have been crazy. I put up a chart, way more than anybody thought. And I'm blessed. Thank you for your prayers. As I always say, you're in my prayers morning and at night. I pray twice a day, and I pray throughout the day. But this is a tough time to be a patriot, and I wish you all strength. Now is the time to turn to your Bible. Now is the time to get your house in order. And tonight, I hope you'll pray for those left behind as Satan's army surrounds them. Satan's army. And you can, I've seen this. Get the get it, get the shot. You know, what kind of, you want anal cancer or lung cancer? Which cancer are we going to deal with? I always believe in getting rid of the cancer. I think we spent too much time dealing with these assholes over there. I think Trump had the right idea. Do what you want. Step out of line. You're dead. They understand strength. I've traveled through these countries. They understand strength. They don't understand Christianity. They don't understand love. They don't understand forgiveness. They're not us. Well, why would they do that? No, when you say that, you're saying you wouldn't do that. No, because you were raised in America and you were raised Christian. And all right. So Monday night. Yeah. I don't take any more calls. I'm sick of that. It's whatever we're doing here, I don't like it. So I'm not going to mess with it. Vince, love you. Thank you for calling. So let me just say Monday night, the reason I'm back, I read a book called Birthright. And this is about how this guy has studied the Anunnaki, the giants of the Bible, the massive 14-foot skeletons that used to be on display and no longer are on display at the Smithsonian. What's that all about? If you've ever talked to anyone that says they've been abducted, it sure sounds demonic to me. I have been part of exorcisms. I studied to be a minister. And I'm telling you, witnessing exorcisms, witnessing the demon possessed, and then hearing from some of these stories, some of these people that have been abducted, it seems demonic. Birthright, this man has traveled the world and explored ancient archaeological sites. He's going to talk about the Anunnaki. He's going to talk about the giants of the Bible, what the flood was for, what Noah was about, who was saved and who wasn't. And he also is going to talk about a government deal with extraterrestrials to study us and how the deal has gone terribly wrong and how evil is exploiting it. Again, you would have never seen me again. You would have never heard me again. Except I read this book and I went, I got to interview this guy. Monday at 7 o'clock. This was just a goofy thing we did to jump on here. I had to talk. I needed to talk to you. When wilt thou free the people? O God of mercy, when? Not crowns and thrones, but men. I don't feel God is smiling on America. Onward, Christian soldiers. I see a lot of cowards. I see a lot of big talking friends of mine. Oh, yeah, okay. I don't want to say anything. When are you going to say something? When are you going to speak up? I'm here. I believe a lot of you folks are fighters like me. And the fight goes on. I'll talk to you Monday.